Well, champion warriors, patriots, Americans. My name is John Lemmy, the host of the CBJ Real News Podcast Show. And this lovely lady next to me, this champion, is Dr. Professor Olga. Professor Olga, how you say your last name again?
Ravasi.
See, I love her dearly. She is back to top of command. She's one of our featured speakers at We the People Fight Back. You talk about a fighter. You talk about a brilliant patriot. And she's the founder of the Serbian American Voters Alliance, founder and chairman of and the chairwoman. And what I want to do, Dr. Olga, is I want to just have you unpack. I know today you unleashed on Twitter. You did a tweet about really just how the criminal Biden's destroying the country. And this is just going to be a little sneak peek, kind of a little appetizer. Dr. Olga tears it up live, and she's one of our featured speakers at our event. I'm so proud of her. I love her family. She's a mom. She's a wife. She has all. Is your dog also a boy? You have a dog, right?
Yes, we had a dog, and it was a boy, Maximus.
That's excellent.
So, and we had him for 17 years, miniature schnauzer. He was a mini, but we called him Maximus.
Maximus. So let me read you.
Everything is Maxi in our household.
That's right. So Dr. Olga is the founder and chairwoman of Serbian American Voters Alliance. She serves as an advisor to Crime Stoppers Global Solutions, a U.S.-based international non-governmental organization committed to combating terrorism and transnational crime. She's also a subject matter expert on Balkan affairs, South Central Europe, and the Middle East, and carries the designation of a highly qualified expert, and she is a fighter. Dr. Olga, welcome to our CBJ Real News Podcast Show.
Thank you. Great seeing you again, and very excited about this weekend. And We the People coming back to Naples, Florida. It will be a great event. Hopefully, we have more of our listeners joining us this weekend.
Yeah, we have people coming in from 22 different states, some incredible champions, and more than ever, we had someone that secured a ticket yesterday, and she goes, "I feel all alone." Where is she from? Pennsylvania, Connecticut? Pennsylvania. And she goes, I feel alone. I said, that's what they want to do. So she's coming from Connecticut. She just booked a ticket yesterday. She says, I want to be around a room and an atmosphere because they're making me believe I'm nuts. And just comment with your international expertise, what is on your heart, what's in your mind, what's happening right now in a state of affairs with the moron Biden and everything going on.
Well, clearly all of us have been glued to the TV screens and everything that I could pick up from the international media, and of course the agencies and partners that I work with closely, looking at this mess unraveling right in front of our eyes. But to just address that point that you brought up about somebody that we will see, and I'm happy we will see people from different states, that they feel they are alone in their state. Well, that's exactly the point. We are getting to that point in our country where we are so polarized, and it's unfortunate because at this point it shouldn't be Democrat, Republican, liberals, conservatives. What is going to be that lowest common denominator that will somehow get our country back and united? Because that is the idea, to get us pinned against one another. And that is what the powers that be are working towards, and they are exploiting our weaknesses. And as I said, I don't want to reveal too much. We're going to be talking about this over the weekend, but exploiting the differences within different nations, that has been the blueprint for so many decades around the world, around the globe, looking at these colored revolutions and regime change. That is precisely what is happening here. And the weakness that they are exploring here, of course, first and foremost, is racism. But now we are moving away from that, and we are looking at that domestic terrorism type situation where the war on terror from the international scope has now moved to our home. And first, they were the people who were Trump voters and quote unquote deplorables. But now we are moving into the sphere of medical terrorism, right, where people who want to have a choice how to take care of their own bodies and how to take care of their medical issues are now being the target. So there are different layers that we are going through. But again, when we talk about regime change, when we talk about nation building, when we talk about all of these things that I live and breathe, as you know, in terms of foreign policy, we're looking at this mess unraveling with Afghanistan. And again, John, I don't know why people are so shocked and surprised to see this, because again, we have been in Afghanistan, and it's almost uncanny that this is happening right about 20 years later from 9/11. And you remember that all of this started with 9/11. That event changed the trajectory, not just of our foreign policy, but of the entire world. But prior to that, we were involved in nation building, we were involved in regime change. And if we look at Afghanistan in particular, this is a mess that's been happening for the past 40 years. But what I want to stress right now is, in fact, that now President Biden has been in politics for 47 years, almost 50 years, and he's always been wrong on every major foreign policy decision. So unfortunately, he's the president, so he cannot sit this one out. But I would suggest not just him, the Frumps, the Cheneys, the Bushes, they need to sit this one out, because 40 years ago, we kind of went in with the Taliban. Now, again, Afghanistan is a very complicated issue, and it's painting it with the white brush to say, well, we created the Taliban. It's not quite so. We need to look at Pakistan. We need to look at other players that were involved there during the Soviet invasion. But Afghanistan has been known as the graveyard of empires, right? So the Soviets couldn't do it. So for 10 years, you had the Afghanis fighting the Soviets. Then for 10 years, they were fighting each other. And then for these past 20, they were fighting each other and us. So you're looking at a nation that has been in such disarray and distress for the past 40 years. And of course, our hearts go out, first of all, to our veterans and to our Americans who have lost their lives in the Middle East, who have lost their lives and sacrificed all to be in Afghanistan. But again, this proves that our military should have an entrance and exit strategy. There are military goals, but nation building is not one of those goals. And on top of it, we're looking at Pentagon worrying about being woke. And we're looking at our military and our recruiting videos where they're talking about, you know, I come from San Francisco and I had 2 moms, versus we're looking at military recruiting videos of Russia and China. And that tells you everything you need to know about the state of affairs in our military, which is really sad, because our men and women, our great heroes, are sacrificing their lives, but not for this, and not for this type of embarrassment that we are witnessing today.
And that's what it is, Doc. Though it is an embarrassment. And you know, you talk about We the People Fight Back, and you know, this weekend coming up, we're gonna have an amazing event. And more than ever, we need to be around qualified experts like yourself and others, and people attending. And people go, "What can I do?" There was, you know, I spent yesterday, and I won't share the name. I was on a phone with someone yesterday for an hour and 10 minutes. We consider him a very close friend of ours. SEAL Team 6, 12 deployments. Sure. Thousands and thousands and thousands of missions in Afghanistan, and there's, you know, this was set up for a disaster.
Absolutely.
The way the weapons were left there. I mean, Biden left the weapons there. There's no foreign policy.
President Trump had an exit strategy. Oh, yeah. And today, they're deflecting a little bit, because President Biden came out, and even Secretary Blinken, but with all due respect, they're showing off as tough people who are now making the toughest decision to exit. The question is whether we needed to exit. We needed to exit a long time ago. Possibly in 2001, we were there ready, few months, and we were done. Our military needed to leave. If the Afghans cannot fight for their own democracy, this is not our job. The nation building of this type, after $2+ trillions of dollars and countless lives lost, American and our allies and Afghani lives lost, this was not the exit strategy. There were contingency plans left by President Trump's administration Those contingency plans were not followed. The civilians needed to be evacuated. But now, guess what? And here is where I just was going off yesterday. So the protectorates that we keep around the world, and some of these nations that we attempted to bring democracy to and nation build, such as the nations in the Balkans, who are impoverished, who have no infrastructure, now they are being literally ordered, although the languages they're offering, to now temporarily house these refugees from Afghanistan. But guess what? Now we are bringing thousands of Afghanis who were allegedly helping the United States, but still we need to make sure that we understand the kind of cultural divide that we are now bringing to Europe. Albania, Kosovo, and North Macedonia with Canada, I don't know how Canada got itself into this kind of a company, is offering, quote unquote, offering to now host temporarily these Afghan refugees. And of course, human life is valuable no matter where it is. But let's be honest, you are bringing impoverished, vulnerable Afghanis to an area that is impoverished, that is known for organized crime, for human trafficking, and for its connections to Al-Qaeda, to Taliban, to Mujahideen, to ISIS, whatever you want to call them these days. This has been the historic trajectory of that region. Now you are bringing these people there into the problematic underbelly of Europe, when Europe is also already facing the migrant crisis and they can't deal with it. Plus, we are now hearing from AOC and the squad, we need to bring these Afghanis here to the United States. We can't deal with the southern border. We're having a lot of our own problems. And look, there are many military bases around that region where we can temporarily take these people. And there were plans, contingency plans for that as well, to evacuate the civilians who were helping us.
Listen,
but Middle East has nations that could house them, that are culturally closer to them. So now is the time to pay attention. Because this is a national security threat for Europe and for us.
This is something I want to interject there, Dr. Everyone listening, there was plans. When I had this conversation with someone yesterday, and he may go live in the next 2 weeks and lay out the exact plans, what they were going to do. Obviously, this is, Obama's running this country and his administration. Biden,
yes, this is a third term,
and this was set up from the beginning. I mean, they did it 2 weeks before, literally 3 weeks before September 11th. They left weapons there. They left the journalists, everybody in there. There's thousands of Americans in there. This is Benghazi to the nth degree. And the U.S. News, I mean, for the first time ever, I had a video removed on Rumble. We reloaded it up. And guys, I appreciate you guys on Rumble tonight, sharing, liking, commenting. And I appreciate all of you following me on Telegram, massively censored on the other social media outlets. And to follow me on Telegram, just put in CBJ Real News, CBJ Real News, join the channel. Same on Rumble. Just put in CBJ Real News and subscribe. We just passed 38,000 subscribers, so we're building our platform very quickly. And what's going on right now, you talk about sex trafficking, human trafficking. I mean, it's brutal what's going on, where they're raping the boys, and with the men can still be considered a virgin in Allah's eyes. And they rape the boy, rape the girl, take the girl on board, put him in sex trafficking, and kill the parents. This is going on right now in Afghanistan, brutally.
But that's the thing that's been now going on in Libya. This is the kind of mess that we created in Libya. But let me tell you something. I know that our military industrial complex is almost going to say that this was for them successful, because again, there's a lot of money to be made in wars. We have open markets, open slave markets in Libya. To this day, we have that type of trafficking that, again, the reason why I speak of the Balkans, that is that pipeline that goes through the Balkans into Western Europe. And again, connecting Afghanistan to Kosovo. Well, Kosovo has been the largest European hub of opium trafficking directly from Afghanistan, which has grown so much even while we were there. So, I mean, there's so many problems that we need to tackle here, and that were somewhat successfully tackled by President Trump. But again, this is on every single president that has sort of been involved. in this Afghanistan debacle. And again, with all due respect, Secretary Blinken today says that this is not Biden's Saigon moment, but when you look at the videos,
it's brutal.
It is really brutal. And unfortunately, our allies are looking at it. And, you know, it's funny. Biden managed one thing today. President Biden managed one thing today, and that is to kind of unite the nation. Because now I see that on every side, people are unhappy. So again, back to that original point, what could be that lowest common denominator that gets us back together as Americans, as a country? We need to realize that we all are being threatened and we are essentially being occupied one way or the other, whether it's through the foreign policy or through now the medical terror that's happening, to the mandates and impositions, starting from just the local elements all the way up to the globe. And one thing that I'm also very concerned about, and I would love to talk about this a little bit over the weekend, and that's Cuba. And I'll tell you honestly, having lived again through regime change, nation building, I fear for Cuba. Because again, with Afghanis, with anyone in this world, we need to make sure that those people can fight for their own democracy. There is something that Hillary Clinton said a long time ago, which has gotten us in trouble around the world. And I'm paraphrasing, but that is, everybody around the world perceives democracy in the same way. Well, I beg to differ, because what we don't take into consideration is culture, is history of specific regions. You know, democracy is not one size fits all. And that's particularly true for the regions such as Middle East. For Afghanistan, for example, you just brought up a point where you were talking about sex slavery and sex trafficking. Well, apparently Taliban is now going around and knocking on doors and picking up little girls who are going to be brides for the Taliban fighters.
That's going on.
But on the other hand, you had, and you know, through our US military and through the reports that we have been receiving through intelligence agencies and State Department, that these warlords that we were working with, our military was almost forced to close their eyes and pretend like it's not happening. The tradition of so-called bachi baza in Afghanistan, where they're actually sodomizing little boys. So this is the type of cultural diversity, if you wish to call it, that we are looking to import through even these refugees now that we are going to be bringing either to the United States or to the Balkans or somewhere to Europe, or for that matter to Canada, because they volunteered to receive refugees. And again, listen, I lived through a war. I could say for myself that I was at a certain point a war immigrant or a refugee, but there is a process for that.
When was that? What year was that? When was that?
1990s. So when Yugoslavia started breaking and falling apart, 1994 was when I arrived here. And at that point, civil war was happening in Yugoslavia, Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina. The entire country was falling. And that's exactly what we are witnessing now around the world, because again, I go back to that region. That was the initial blueprint of regime change and of a colored revolution, starting with Yugoslavia and with the Balkans. Now we are seeing that around the world. We've seen it in Ukraine, we've seen it in Georgia, we've seen it in the Middle East. And clearly, I hate to say it, but we have seen it in the United States. What happened with the previous administration was a textbook example of regime change.
I mean, it's amazing too. That's why we, the people, fight back. We, the Americans, that's how they're trying to make us comply.
The Americans, again, I'm tired of the polarization of the country. We need to find something that will get us back united. And it's very distressing that the differences that are happening that are very superficial, but they're being exploited, and they're being exploited to our own detriment.
And we had a conversation today with somebody that was very anti-Trump. They know what I do with anti-conservative, all that stuff. And I said to him, I said, so let's talk about Afghanistan. Let's talk about the food shortage. Let's talk about supply chain. And let's talk about the forced vaccinations. What they're trying to do, that's why we, the people, the Constitution.
Well, at least there's no mean tweets, right? Yeah. But everything else is falling apart.
And I said to him, now you got to realize, you got to be real careful. If you start going down that path, you're done. I mean, there's no this. They're out to destroy this country. And now with everything, the timing of Afghanistan, and we're going to see that the next week, 2-3 weeks is going to be brutal. It
will be, and it's deliberate. I mean, trust me, this type of national and almost global embarrassment is very deliberate. Nobody can tell me that there's just
same as the border. The border is deliberate. Yes. The border is totally deliberate. You look at the border coming in. You look now, the Afghans will come through the border. This has all been deliberately set up by everybody working behind the Biden, and Biden is just gone. We all know that. And this
he is not even in charge. I mean, honestly, looking at that picture of him sitting with the empty desk, and he is being briefed with VP Kamala Harris. But what is really distressing to me is I don't know how the White House put out this picture out, but they in fact outed our intelligence officials, the Doha station, the different agencies. I'm not going to get into that, but that was very dangerous. And they tweeted it out. They put out the picture of people who have been involved in some of these things. And that is certainly not something that
what's brutal
should have been done.
Is to be on the phone with someone who was in the Navy SEAL team and who put many of those Taliban and Al-Qaeda guys behind the prisons in Afghanistan, and they're on Taliban TV seeing the prisoners walk on the street. This is
they're releasing them now.
I mean, for those that don't believe in God, you better believe in God now, because you want to have God in your side, like David and Goliath and Gideon. It is a war, and this is waking up for everybody. Have to realize, and like you said, people are starting to realize this is not. It's beyond all this nonsense right now.
It is very beyond nonsense that is superficial, that is meant to divide us. The social issues, the things that really should be non-issues, have divided us. But I think we need to regroup. We need to look at one another and the strengths that we have as Americans, as a nation that truly. Watching those devastating videos out of Afghanistan and seeing even people plunge to their deaths, trying to hold on to the landing gear of airplanes and fuselage and literally falling to their deaths, is telling you about the desire to, and again, our southern border, the desire to come to this nation. So still there's a reason why people want to flock to the United States. But honestly, we have a constitution. We must have our border, because otherwise we will not have a nation. Other nations have borders. Our laws need to be defined. Our laws need to first and foremost protect us as Americans. And it is not anywhere written that it's a human right to just appear on American soil. I understand. I feel for everybody, but I've been through the process. There is a process for it, and let's go through the process. And as I said, there were contingency plans for these civilians, for people who were helping us in Afghanistan. They should have been evacuated. There are many nations that are culturally close to them in the Middle East where we have our bases. It was very easy to lift them up. But it's interesting, 30 years ago, when the Soviets were pulling away into what is today Uzbekistan, we were watching the same images now of Afghanis running away via the same bridge. It used to be called the Friendship Bridge during the Soviet Union. And the Afghanis, the warlords, apparently Ghani, who was the president, escaped Afghanistan with millions of dollars. So again, the fact that it fell within 3 days should tell us something. Afghani people did not like the regime that we imposed on them. Now, granted, they don't like the Taliban either, but it seems like now they are that is their culture. We have to accept that there's something about their culture that appeals to these types of regimes. Now, looking back to that, can we bring them democracy? And on top of it, within this democracy, can we bring them these social issues such as gender studies that we were trying to stuff into infrastructure bills for Pakistan, for Afghanistan? I mean, look at these societies. Let's be realistic.
Dr. I want to, then I know I'll let you go here in a few minutes. And Dr. she's going to unleash at our event. Guys, make sure there's like 10 VIP tickets remaining, right? For our event. Remember, everybody at our event is a VIP. You get a full, beautiful lunch buffet. You get to interact with the doctor, with Dr. Oger, with all the speakers there, with everybody coming in. You guys get the 25-page training workbook, which I read Dr. Oger's bio from the last event. Here's our menu for our VIP dinner. We got a great VIP dinner. We're going to end our event on celebrating. We're going to have some great special guests who are all immigrants, all from other countries, who are great entertainers and business owners, very successful. The #1 reality star show on PureFlix, Bean Martelli, millions of viewers, and an unbelievable story. And they just love this country. We, the people, it is so important. Make sure you're around the right people, because this right now is going to bring people together, because there's no games being played here in America. Afghanistan, the person I spoke to yesterday, they laid out an 11-point contingency plan they had in place. And this administration with Obama, whoever stole the election is running what's going on in Afghanistan also, by the way. They pulled
and elsewhere in the world.
They pulled everything out and set everything up. Because I spoke to him, long story short, they saw this coming. And what it's doing right now is it's getting people to realize you have to stop the games. We as Americans have to be strong.
We have to be strong. We have to be vigilant. And I'll tell you something, again, going back to Europe and to devastation that was Yugoslavia and then Kosovo, bombing of Serbia, but Christian Orthodox Serbs were in fact one of the first victims of the Taliban and the Mujahideen that were brought from the Middle East and from Afghanistan to fight on the side of the Muslims who were chopping off heads over in Europe. So we know exactly what this is. And again, we need to be prepared, because whoever is cooking up these foreign policy disasters that we have clearly been seeing, and it is not just this one, but so many of them. For some people, this is a success because, again, look at the great big defense contractors, right? This works in their favor. There's always a lot of money in war. War is a racket. However, the regular people, whether they're Albanians, Serbs, Kosovars, Afghanis, they are the ones, and Americans ultimately, they are the ones who bear the brunt of these disastrous foreign policies. Because again, when you look at humanity and humans in general, you would think that we all want the same things, right? We want to be happy. We want that pursuit of happiness. We want to be able to start our families, feed our families, have productive careers. The question is how we get there. But creating these types of disasters and leaving a trail of blood around the world is not faring well. And again, I think it's deliberate and it's unfortunate because we are being looked at as an embarrassment right now on the national stage. And it's very sad.
It's deliberate. For everyone listening, that's why we here at the Conservative Business Journal, the CBJ Real News podcast show, and you're going to hear at the event too, Dr. Ogle, we're going to take our show to the next level. That's why, because we've been censored and banned, but there's some people that are coming behind this movement, and we're going to really take it to the next level because there's no news now. I mean, there's no news at all out there. They're not even showing.
There's an interesting piece of news today. I don't know if you saw that clip from CNN, the journalist, the CNN woman. She's standing with a whole bunch of Taliban behind her, and she goes, well, they're chanting death to America, but they seem friendly enough. That was, I think, the most bizarre thing I've seen today. I
mean, I want to show one quick video, and then I'll let you. This is about 30 seconds long. For those of you, I showed this last night, but those of you live on tonight, make sure those of you on Rumble out the video, chat. Once again, when you're on Rumble on a smartphone, you log in, and you can chat under You could chat under the video on a smartphone. Then on a desktop, you guys sometimes have to refresh and comment. I see a bunch of comments on the desktop now. I see Jay Adams on there. And those of you guys, go over to Rumble, just search CBJ Real News, subscribe. And those of you that are on Telegram, you see the live link, just click on that, enjoy the show, watch the show, share the show. But this video says it all. That was taken Saturday afternoon, obviously Afghani time.
Oh, wow. I haven't seen that one. Devastating. Devastating, but again.
I had understood a little bit because first time ever Rumble removed the video. I had 5 videos sent to me from my source from Afghanistan that has people in there right now. This was set up for a disaster to destroy America. It's the contingency plan they had. There's more people right now in the main city than ever before. There was actually an event last Tuesday or Wednesday where all the American journalists were together. I mean, They've set this up for slaughter for Americans. And all of you listening, because I have many trolls that watch my show, which is great, especially this goes out, on all the podcast platform. We passed 80 million downloads as of last week on my podcast platform we're on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, SoundCloud, all that. So make sure you guys do subscribe to get the audio podcast. But what's going on right now is we have to realize that something major's going to happen in America where people are going to stand. They're going to have the right to stand. And this has been set up. And I had numerous people going to start moving over. We're going to have more people now taking politics out of it and putting American conservative values in it. So I want to congratulate Christy. Said who just secured 2 tickets? Terry and Christy just secured 2 tickets to the We the People Fight Back event. So guys, we're excited about that. So Dr. Oga, just give me like a 60-second recap about this. This is your second time speaking to our event. I'm excited to see your husband. You got your awesome kids, and give them a kind of a little. This was like John from New York. Just see John on here says truly informative. This is Dr. Oga just lets it rip. She's incredibly knowledgeable, powerful, loves the country. And I'm excited this weekend too, Doctor. Share a little bit more of your story coming back in the early 90s over to it. We're going to have a lot of legal immigrants that love this country speaking. It's amazing. Half the presenters are from other countries.
Sure.
Frank Deverano.
And that is the beauty of this nation. Absolutely. Right. That is the beauty of this country. But again, we need to make sure that what this country is and what its foundational values are, those need to be preserved. Right. And we need to adhere to them. So again, as heartfelt we all are about human life, we have to also be realistic about specific cultures, about certain processes that need to take place in order to integrate and assimilate those who wish to immigrate, whether to United States or even to Europe. And we have seen the disaster that has been in Europe. I mean, you've got no-go zones in cities that all of us, almost if you're European, you grew up in those cities. And you have areas where they are governed by Sharia law. Is that really something that we want on our shores? Is that really something that adheres to Judeo-Christian values of our founding? Again, being open to everybody, but making sure that we stick to what made this country what it is, which is a country that is wonderful, a country that is prosperous. And again, as I say many times, people, especially lately, you see this divide and people are complaining that they've been discriminated against in this nation. But again, show me a country where any minorities or immigrants are more successful and more prominent and hold most prominent roles within the society. Show me a country other than the United States.
And
I'll leave it with that.
How many years did it take you to get your legal immigration, Dr. Olga?
Not long, given that we were coming from a war-torn area, so it took about a year to go through a process to obtain a green card, and then another 5 years for citizenship. So about 6 years total.
Because I'm going to add up all the speakers and how many years they took. I know Frank was 11 years. Frank Valentine, Second Amendment expert, 11 years. Sabine, I think it was 8 years for Sabine, Angel Mom.
Sure.
I mean, so you get this close to 100 years between the speakers. Let that sink in, everybody listening. This isn't a game. Legal immigration is so
absolutely. And some
of
the most brightest and brilliant minds have come to this country from other nations. This is what made us exceptional and what made us great. But again, we need to make sure that when we arrive somewhere, we stick and adhere to those values that have proven to be exceptional and that have proven, and again, nothing is perfect. It is not to say that our country is not prone to some flaws, but again, comparatively, we have built an amazingly wonderful country in a very short period of time. And as I said many times, this nation is worth fighting for.
Yeah, and that's my grandparents came in 1913, and those of you visit conservativebusinessjournal.com, and news that went out this morning. Frank Deverano, you met Frank, and Frank's brilliant on communism. Frank wrote an incredible article today we published in Conservative Business Journal about the Taliban in Afghanistan from his perspective as a Cuban American. Dr.
And we'll talk about Cuba. As I said, I'm looking forward to this weekend, and without sharing too much tonight, we'll talk to everybody on Friday and Saturday.
Say hi to your awesome family. Thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you.
God bless you,
Thank
Dr.
you, and we'll
see
you soon.
See you
Good
soon.
night.
Thank you. Good night. Tell you, that's why I tell you, brilliant, right, Christy? Like John Moore said from New York. And John, I received your message already today. I'll give you a call a little bit. I know you got your store open a little bit. Guys, this is what it's about in America. You know, what Dr. Olga said is legal immigration. And that's why you can't do this alone. I mean, we've heard it for all the people that are coming in from out of state for this event, is you cannot do this alone. And I just want to give you guys a little feel of, you know, we the people fight back. Powerful. Wow, we the people fight back. It's powerful. It's powerful. And I you know, I just want to inspire all of you. You have to stay tied in. Yeah, you know, right here, as this hat says, don't tread on my freedom. Well, and remember, right now, one of our major sponsors now that makes all this possible is the conservativemarketplace.com. Conservativemarketplace.com. Make sure you guys support it. And Jay Adams said, how did I find this channel on Rumble? Glad I did. Thank you, Jay Adams. We are the Conservative Business Journal. My name is John Delemy. I'm the founder of the Conservative Business Journal, and this is the John Delemy CBJ Real News Podcast Show. We go live every night, and we've been doing this for many years. And you know what really put us out there was when I unleashed the Biden scam series. And you know, one of my great guests in that series was Navy SEAL Team 6 member Justin Sheffield. And I want to show a quick clip from Justin when Justin basically lays out Joe Biden and who Joe Biden is and what he stands for.
To China, I mean, listen, these guys let China bend us over completely. Russia, come on, man. Biden, we know what he gave to Russia. He said what he gave to Russia, and that's what we know of, right? Iran, a brick of money in the back of a plane. What happened to all that, by the way? You ever heard anything else about that? No. We're letting prisoners go from Gitmo, guys that killed innocent civilians, number one, but also Americans. They're in Gitmo, and we're going to do some trade. I mean, these guys are scumbags. Joe Biden is a scumbag. He talks about veterans all with these fallen angels. First of all, fallen angel is a demon in my mind. Don't ever compare us to fallen angels. Okay, we're veterans, we're soldiers, we love our country, we stand for the flag, hands over our heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love this country, and this is why we have to get President Trump. We got to get him 4 more years, man.
Oh, there we go. And that's why we do what we do. He's SEAL Team 6, Justin Sheffield. I've interviewed Justin 3 times, and you guys can listen to all 3 episodes with Justin Sheffield when you visit cbjrealnews.com, and you go up to the top, and it says, it's real simple. You go to cbjrealnews.com, and it says library of episodes, all in alphabetical order. Scroll down, and you will see Sheffield. This is his last name, Sheffield, Sheffield. 3 episodes. Listen to all 3. Get immersed. What Justin said in July 2020, I interviewed him, is more relevant today. You talk about we the people fight back. And, when you talk, we were going back and forth today with Rebecca Friedrichs. Rebecca Friedrichs hit the national scene when she unleashed about education and the education unions and the process when President Trump put her on for the Republican National Convention, and she just completely took the nation by storm. And it's interesting because right now, that's people go, the event, what's going on. We're going to educate you guys exactly what to do to fight back in your own neighborhood. And I want to show one quick clip from Rebecca Friedrichs, who will be live. Rebecca Friedrichs is coming into our event, and it's about Bill Gates and Fauci. This is interesting. This is about Gates and Fauci when she was on my show many months ago. So here's Bill Gates and Fauci. And guys, I appreciate you guys once again. Those of you listening, to please follow us on Telegram, because we get censored in many other areas. So you go to Telegram, and then just search out CBJ Real News, just like our show is, CBJ Real News. John DeLemme says John DeLemme -CBJ Real News. And then just subscribe, and those join a channel. And those of you that are on Telegram, we post it every time I go live, and you click on that link, takes you to Rumble. And then feel free, and we appreciate you sharing right now on Telegram to your followers, any groups you can post in and share in. And I apologize here. I'm going to find the video real quick here, Rebecca. Here it is. It's about abortions. Excuse me. This one is about Fauci and Gates.
Individual, he concerns me. And Fauci, I don't know enough about the man except that he says one thing one day and another thing another day, so I don't trust him. And the other thing I know is he works for the CDC, and the CDC is also run by government unions. Any organization run by government unions, I don't trust that organization, because they're not doing, for example, there's a page on the CDC website, and I have it screenshotted. It's a page all about how teachers like myself are supposed to support something called young men having sex with men. So it's all about.
Wait. Yeah. That's where's that?
On the CDC website.
That was months ago. When did you interview Rebecca? 6 months ago. So Rebecca Friedrichs will be here live at our event. We the people fight back. I mean, guys, be here. Do what we literally, Christy, you walked outside. We're in the studio. She walked in the other room, and Terry and Christy, Terry and Christy, sorry. Terry and Christy secured their ticket that We the People Fight Back. Man, guys, those of you out of state, make a decision. You can't do this alone. Some of you feel beat up. Some of you feel alone, scared. What do I do? I'm alone. These people they're winning all this stuff. The way you protest is get empowered. The way you protest is get strength. The way you could protest, you're going to meet Hallie and Steve. Hallie is 73. Steve is 81, coming from Ohio. Okay. They have grandchildren. About 6 weeks ago, I was on the phone with Hallie, and she got frustrated. And she says, enough is enough. And she says, what can I do? I said, what are you going to do about it? So she sent an email to 20 people she knew locally. Said, I want to get together with fellow Americans that put America first. That was the first evening meeting of the America First Club. They had 6 people, a cup of coffee, a little bite to eat, and just talking about issues. Tonight, tonight in Sandusky, Ohio, there's 130 people at a church listening to the sheriff of that county speaking, how do we protect our citizens? They went from frustration to action. See, that's what we do at We the People Fight Back event. It empowers people, it encourages people, and it strengthens you. All the Facebook warriors, Facebook and Twitter are not changing. They're not changing. We, the people, have to fight back in our own circle of influence. That's what we do at our event. You guys will leave so inspired. We have so many surprises, just a swag bag in a way, and just the gifts, just the people to be around, because you have faith in you, but you have to ignite your faith. You have to feed your faith by being around the right people. And that's what goes on when We the People Fight Back. That's how we make it happen. And now there's about 7 or 8 tickets remaining. This is going to be an epic event. I mean, we put together all the name tags the last 24 hours, right? All name tags are top notch, not some sticker that rolls off or no name tag. These are high-end, high-quality, 5-star elite event. Classroom style. You sit at a table, classroom style, taking notes. I mean, that's so important. Taking notes, learning. Somebody needs to hear that tonight, because you're feeling beat up. You're feeling lost. You're feeling, what do I do? How do I do this? How do I do this alone? How can I do this? That's why I want to show a quick review from Adele. Adele runs the Estero Republic Club, correct? Adele is I think there's about 20 people from her club coming to the event, correct? So let me show the quick review of Adele about the event. Finishing up our 2-day We the People Fight Back event in Naples, Florida, where we just tore the house down. And Adele just said to me some incredible words. Share with me what you said about it.
It was absolutely fantastic. You talk about raising the bar of people's spirits in America. This really hit it over the top for me, for everybody that was here. Go America, go John, go Chrissy. Great event. Thank you.
And you're saying about really just the speakers, the organization, the preparation, the event. How empowered do you feel?
Oh, I mean, it's invigorating. I mean, you gave us hope. You gave us promise. It's everything that we need to hear, because people are becoming too complacent and they're worried and they don't really know. We need solutions. This event was a solution. That's awesome. To everybody that attended. And now we can go and I can spread it to everyone, our club and everyone around, to come in May.
So now real quick, I want to do another review. As I watch that, I get empowered. Hey guys, you can't do it alone. And see what Lorene said. Lorene says, I have my name tag hanging on my office. Lorene's a major sponsor, supporter of the Conservative Business Journal, John DeLemme, CBJ Real News Podcast Show. It's exciting. It's exciting to watch Adele's review, right, Christy? Right. Guys, you can't do this alone. We the People Fight Back. You can't do this alone. They will win if you stay alone. They will win if you stay in solitary confinement. They will beat you down mentally. They will beat you down. They will have you comply and lose your belief, and they will have you veer, and all of a sudden you crash and burn. And we'll be concluding here in a few minutes, but something I teach is, you can't veer. You got to have focused vision. If you start veering, that's why all of you let people know. And I want to thank all the sponsors and supporters and those of you listening that believe in the conservative movement. We're an independent news media outlet, online or offline outlet. We have team members. We publish a magazine. We publish a website. We publish this show. We put on these events. Just when you see our event, I mean, someone said, why is it so cheap, right? Yeah. Because they've been to events where for $247 investment, you get nothing. The food alone at our event, literally you'd pay more for Colleen, just get in the car and come on down, young lady. I wonder how many hours it takes me to drive to the event from Washington State. Just go. Just get in the car and go. God is asking somebody This is your answer to prayer. Me challenging you, by God, show me a sign. I'm challenging you because we care about you. And I say this respectfully. The event will go on with or without you being here. The challenge is, will you get to your next level by not being here? That's a respectful statement because I care about you. Like, you want to play in a winning team? Get in the locker room. Come to practice. This is a very powerful statement. And I say this to all of you because I see them winning with people. People feel, I'm lost. I don't know what to do. This is, look what Stephen Halley did. And you met Stephen Halley, Lorraine. People are going to be blown away. I'm opening up this event with them. When I bring up, they're 81 and 73. And they said they did something. And that wouldn't have been done if they didn't come to the April event. Right, Christy? There's 130. I'll be in Sandusky, Ohio, the end of October for an event. We're limiting it to 250 people. I'll be coming as the keynote speaker. I say it respectfully, one of the who's who in the conservative movement, teaching a message from many of my books and just what we do, just to empower and encourage people. Is so important. So important. Wow. So many to hear that. Guys, call or text 561-847-3467, 561-847-3467, and say ticket. Come on out. Be here. Be around people. Be around people that empower you. I want to show Barbara's review, and then we'll conclude here in 3 minutes. I want to show Barbara she'll be back once again, just like Adele will be back once again. Here's Barbara.
I love being around a lot of patriots here. The energy level was wonderful. And specifically seeing Tom Homan and just seeing how hard he fought, for our country when he was in power, and knowing that we need additional people like that supporting this country. I want America first. I want our old America. I want people in the presidency, in the vice president position, people that love our country, people that love our people, that put America first. And we love immigrants too, but let them come into this country legally. And we need to take one day at a time. We need to fight. We need to participate in the Republican Party. And we need to continue fighting for America, to continue making America great.
What would you say to someone thinking about coming to the event?
Oh, the event is a wonderful event. It's very inspirational. Everybody's in a good mood. Everybody's sharing contact information. You learn a lot from the people's story and what they have gone through. And I think we give each other energy. We make each other stronger, and we know that we're in this together. The energy level is here. It just energizes your batteries to continue going out there, to continue supporting each other, and to try to work together to make this country better.
I believe Barbara's review is tremendous. How awesome is that? That says it all. The energy, you can't, and it's not a rah-rah, 1 hour flag wave and go crazy. It's not a protest. You get educated, you get empowered, you get strengthened. So guys, be here. We the People Fight Back event. WeThePeopleFightBackEvent.com. Educate you, empower you, encourage you. Because I see them. What's going to happen with Stephen Halley a year from now? Some people on Facebook are still being Facebook jail. I'm in Facebook jail and send me 44 messages a day on Facebook. I blocked about almost 350 people on my message. Don't send me 4,000 Facebook messages per day. That doesn't do anything. We know what's going on. What are we going to do about it? And that's why we bring experts in to educate you, empower you, encourage you, and give you the strength. Give you the strength to make a decision within your own community. Why do you think we're censored and banned everywhere? That's why I appreciate you guys following on Rumble, commenting on Rumble, sharing on Rumble, subscribing to the Rumble channel. And like what Lisa said, yes, this is the truth, and people around the world see this. This is the truth. Sal said on Rumble. We appreciate that, guys. And I keep saying that because when you're on listening and you want to be involved, the computer picks that up, and sometimes they will ban you from seeing me. But we do a show once every 24 hours. When you're on Telegram, all you do is go through my feed. You can watch it live or click on that, and immediately on Rumble, the replay's there. So important. And then make sure you're in my email list too, because every morning we send out 11 a.m. breaking news. I think today was one of the best conservative newsletters we've published today. Right, Christy? We had some breaking news. Make sure to do that. Go to cbjupdates.com, cbjupdates.com. You've got to be tied in. And just a final note, we'll conclude. I just want to give conservativemarketplace.com. Appreciate there's about 12 to 15 patriotic businesses in there now that we're featuring from all of my books are in there. Dr. Chris's book is in there. All of our faith stands, Fear Run, items are in there, the shirts, tank tops, wristbands, the red, white, and blue wristbands, which are tremendous. Once again, the hats, some incredible patriotic pins, a lapel pin, the world famous tie. 5% of proceeds goes to Heartbeat of Miami with the awesome Martha Avila, free shipping, free handling on all the purchases. Proudly show off your support for America. And people might ask us, how can you support us? Well, this is what we put together for you. Oops, sorry about that. I was not hitting the video. Here we go. How can you support us? Bam. And guys, we appreciate you visiting once again and sharing with your fellow patriots. ConservativeMarketplace.com. ConservativeMarketplace.com. I see Neva on. Neva's a supporter. Neva invested in numerous items on the ConservativeMarketplace.com. We appreciate that. So that's the supporter and sponsor of tonight's episode for John DeLummy's CBJ Real News podcast show. And I want to revert back to this event. I thank all of you, the sponsors and supporters at our We the People Fight Back event. We could not do the event without you. We have more sponsors this time than last time. Our trade show hall is going to rock at the event. It is going to be epic at the event. And I want to throw a huge congratulations out to you. Then we'll conclude Freedom One Coffee of Colorado, Kingdom Plan Advisory Group of Florida, STZ Network of South Carolina, Pretty Lips Company out of Florida, Latasha, 239realestatedeals.com, LLC, Barry and his awesome wife, Kim. And they're also the swag bag sponsors. Their logo will probably be displayed on the 200 swag bags. We appreciate that. And Gwen Novak from Missouri and Lost World Museum from New York. They're going to be giving a great report out about the Goliath facts since we're in the David and Goliath season. And Jeff Wallace from Mississippi will be doing a little. He's going to have some fun with the Constitution as part of our VIP dinner. Excitement. Jason Beal, awesome Jason Beal, audio video extraordinaire. Dr. Christopher Kamensky from Florida. The Biologics Center from Tennessee. They're coming in about 6 to 8 people from Tennessee coming in for the event. And then Alex B from Florida, VIP table support. Appreciate that. Stephen Halley from Ohio are supporters of the event. And Kathy Friedrichs, incredible artist coming in from Massachusetts. Interested to be a supportive sponsor? Guys, get involved in the conservative movement. God is watching you. It is a war in this country. With that said, guys, great show featuring Dr. Olga for the first half of the 60 minutes of tonight's show. Make sure you share it, like, comment, follow, all that good stuff. And you see along the ticker on the bottom of the entire show, you guys can follow us on Telegram, follow us on Rumble, register to receive breaking news by email, and be at the event, We the People Fight Back event. Someone tonight listening is blessed. We're all blessed. God has really blessed you business-wise. You know God's given you a gift, and you manifested that. You financially, tremendously, you're doing very well for yourself. And guys, call in and say, look, I want to pick up 10 tickets. I want to sponsor 10 people anonymously, or you want your name recognition. It's fine with me. I love to recognize people. We'll recognize you. Or you see, you know what? God's blessed me. I want to pick up 10 tickets. I want to sponsor the event. And I also want to recognize my apologies. I didn't read my updated sheet. I want to recognize Mimi Schofield from Schofield Events, and also Mark and Carol Smith. Let me write that down. They sponsored over the weekend. This is obviously Monday night. Mark and Carol Smith of Mark of Excellence Construction, and champion Mimi Schofield. We love Mimi and her husband Rocky. Let me make that note. Mimi, Rocky Schofield. So they are sponsors. They sponsored this weekend. They came in. So those of you, like Mimi called in and said, look, I want to support with this amount. Just do what you want to do with it. And then we always have in return a great opportunity. So call or text 561-847-3467, 561-847-3467. It's just like the two ladies called in while we were on the show and secured their tickets for the event. Lady and her husband. Sorry, lady and her husband. Thank you. It's awesome. A lot of couples coming, right? Which is power. A lot of couples. We love that. So we're empowering America, guys. God bless all of you. And I appreciate you guys and all you're doing. Call or text 561-847-3467. Good night. God bless. You're awesome. Thank you.